coming out of the cage, and at the very last second, he blunders queen g6. That is what you cannot do if you want to have any chance against Hikaru Nakamura. It's as simple as that. And Hikaru has opened up a 4-point lead as he wins the first 2 games of the 3-minute portion.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking. Yeah, it seemed like he was going to hold the draw, but he blundered the very last trick in the position, and Hikaru taking a 4-point lead. It's looking very tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is heartbreaking. Wesley putting together such a good defense. He was down 2 pawns. He got the activity. He got a drawn queen endgame, and he won Hikaru's last remaining extra pawn.
Yeah.
These are the most crushing defeats.
Yeah, I mean, that sometimes happens, right? I mean, he was down 2 pawns for a very long time, so he's under a lot of pressure. And then when it seemed like he had the draw in hand, I wouldn't say that he relaxed. I mean, you cannot relax if you have no time on the clock, but I don't know, somehow when the situation changes, it's typical that then players make a mistake anyway. It's kind of strange.
That's what Hikaru does. He sort of keeps his foot on the gas pedal, regardless of how drawn the position might seem. He'll squeeze every last chance out of the position. And, if you put together 10 traps in a row, your opponent is likely to miss one of them, no matter what he's rated. As we have a queen's gamut decline, Hikaru probably going to go for c5 here, or maybe get the knight back to f6 first.
Right, yeah. So I was wondering whether Wesley maybe should have played the move b4 himself, stopping c5. You see d5 by Wesley.
Can Hikaru go b4?
But then de, I guess. I take some bishop d6. That also looks very solid.
That does look good.
Yeah.
That's such a good decision because it looks like the knight is super active, and it is, but that knight alone is not going to win the game for white.
Right, but a4, I like that move by Wesley, hitting the pawn on b5, which is slightly awkward to deal with. You never really want to go. Actually, b4 hangs a pawn, I believe, because of bishop takes d6 and knight takes b4.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Deal with that.
Maybe c4?
c4, yeah.
But wait a second. Bishop takes d6, I think. Yeah, bishop takes d6 and queen takes d5. And black is just in trouble because everything is hanging here. Queen takes c5.
Queen takes c5, but there's knight takes a4. You're not losing material right away, but this position, it should be bad on positional grounds because you can always put the knight on d4 and the knight is completely anchored in. You can never challenge
it. Black should probably play queen f6 here. Actively, the threat is rook fd1. That wins a piece. And after queen f6, I agree. White's going to put a knight on d4. He's going to get the c file. And white with a pretty clear advantage here. Another chance for Wesley.
Maybe knight f5, therefore, by Hikaru. And he plays it to trade off the knight. Very good defensive move.
Excellent defensive move. Trading off white's strongest piece. Now, Wesley could try to trade on his own terms with rook fd1. But, of course, Hikaru could then play rook fd8.
Yeah.
He trades immediately.
He does a really good job of neutralizing Wesley's advantages.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Bishop f3 is a nasty move because if the rook moves away from a8, white could play b3 and you could end up losing the a6 pawn. Rook a7 here is pretty awkward, but it might be necessary. Nope, Hikaru goes rook c8.
Right. Rook c8, so b3. I mean, he probably has knight to c5, yeah.
Right.
And even though the knight is a little bit loose, I'd expect that black has plenty of ways to somehow tactically hang on to that pawn.
For sure. No, again, I think maybe a move like h3 here is what Wesley's going to resort to. Of course, that threatens bishop g4. He goes b3. I guess we'll find out what Hikaru has in mind.
c5, I'd assume, yeah.
And if b4, then the knight comes back to a4.
Rook d1.
Yeah, but this is not as good as I think it could have been.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier, how, Wesley got an advantage, but he had to play so precise to keep that advantage. And when he did not, Hikaru found some really good moves to it's not equal yet, but come very close to equality.
I want to draw people's attention again. Look at the fact that Hikaru is spending about 25 seconds. Again, he recognizes that if he plays accurately for the next 3-4 moves, he can totally neutralize whatever remains of Wesley's advantage. So not afraid to take that extra time and try to be as precise as possible. Queen c2 is a great active move, hitting b3. Yeah. And bishop d5 here by Wesley would be one candidate move.
But I guess then maybe knight d3 is very awkward to deal with because you would have to go rook f1.
Yeah. Well, I think we're about to see that on the board.
Bishop d5 chosen by Wesley. Yeah, knight d3, you have to play rook f1, but still, then a6 is under attack. Knight d3 chosen by Hikaru, rook f1.
Well,
Maybe hit the... Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just going to say queen takes a6. There might be knight b4, but you could end up losing on both of these queen side. Even if you get b3 back, you're going to be a pawn down there, and it's going to be pretty unpleasant. So,
right.
Queen
So,
c5 exists.
Queen c5. Okay, so
Played.
maybe we want to stick with the rook and then put the knight on b4. Sent by Wesley right away.
No, but trade and rook c3, I think, at a minimum. Trade rook
Right
c3.
Now? And okay, goes rook c7. So if takes, he wants to go rook a7 or rook a8 and create a pin, which looks very tricky because then you double with both the rooks and there's knight b4. How is Wesley getting out of this? Rook a7.
Oh, rook
a1,
just back to a1, and if rook a8.
Oh,
rook d1.
But knight f2, and it's a draw.
Oh, wow. Incredible. Wesley overlooked that. So maybe rook 8. No, rook 8 there was knight before. No, there's nothing he can do. Wesley's going to lose.
Yeah, you have to go. No, I mean, no, you go.
If he doesn't.
It's gonna... Oh, he does.
No. I meant if he doesn't go, but he goes rook f2. Wait a second.
Knight moves. Wait, knight b4?
What?
Knight b4? How are you not just losing your bishop?
What was rook fd1? That was a horrific move by Wesley. He had to go for the draw with rook a to d1. Now he's going to lose the bishop. This
we see the reaction by Hikaru. He looks very confused. And
Hikaru just saying, what? Thank you for the game. And Wesley cannot give games away like this. He just